The whole reporting totals
244.
deceased 244.
Yeah.
March. This is the week ending March. Let's make sure we have the date right. March 21st, 2020, and for that week there were 224 deceased registrations that turned out to be from deceased people.
Dude,
so let's go to March 16th, 2024, and the total now is 6,698.
And over 4,000 are from Texas alone. Like, I think something is up. I can't say. It sounds like it's almost dangerous to register to vote in Texas. Like, it could cost you your life.
Maybe
It's the leading cause of death in Texas.
Maybe the paper they use is just a very fine,
like those
sturdy,
receipts?
and rigid.
Yeah, it's got the
and
film
so
on
these
it.
poor elderly people are taking the thing and they're filling it out, and then as they pick it up, it accidentally paper cuts their arm.
That's probably more likely.
I thought you were going to say they're all laced with something, and so when they open them, they all die.
Oh, it's the ink. The ink they use perhaps is, or
Fentanyl
someone
ink.
is trying to register people off a list, and they don't know these people are dead already.
Yep. There we go.
Or there's a really specific serial killer at Hunt in Texas who only wants to go after people who just registered to vote.
This is like alert the FBI. This is like in a normal
FBI will
society.
be like, stop talking about it.
In the normal society, you're like, we have this horrific anomaly on our border right now of people coming across and voter registrations going off the charts. Send in the FBI. We need to know. We need every aspect of this covered and taken care of.
If we were to do the total calculation from 2011 till today, because it allows you to pull that up, we can see that for 55 million registrations, there are 1 million deceased, and that's the entire for 13 years, over 13 years. Now, I do want to point out this massive number right here of 367,000 in Texas, which is just absolutely fascinating. What the? For 13 years, there have been 367,000 registrations for dead people?
Are people just coming across the border and registering as a dead person and then voting, casting their vote?
Well, thank God we don't have any border
say?
issues with Texas. Thank God that's not an issue right
Yeah. A state that's incredibly vulnerable to this type of fraud seems to have an issue. Who could have predicted?
Missouri also has several thousand, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what the heck?
Look at this. For this doesn't even include Texas because they only report every other week, but 7,345.
But it's like in one state.
I wonder why
from where it's not even listing it. That's interesting. Texas is not here because that number is bigger.
What do you say, Nick?
No, I'm just wondering why, because most states have exactly what you'd expect with this, but there's a couple states that stand out as anomalies, and that's strange. I mean, I wouldn't have bet on Texas and Missouri. Texas maybe because you have the legal immigration issue.
No.
Mm-hmm. But other states are
Texas again. This is February. Here's the date, February 17th. Take a look at this. Missouri had 23,000.
Yeah, why Missouri?
Yeah,
why? Hold on. Let's just slow down right now. It isn't. Okay, we got to be wrong about something. I'll just say this. For Media Matters, matches coming in from deceased people. So these are voter registrations where someone tried to register using a social security number and a name, and when it came back to the SSA, they said that person is dead. In Missouri, in 1 week, 23,253.
Are you still on the 13? Are you still on the 13 years? Or?
February 17th, 2024, 1 week.
It was like a third of the registrations came back dead people.
Yeah. That's
is this them purging the rolls?
No, this is Help America Vote verification transactions by state. And so, look, maybe we're completely wrong, but it says this. Single match found alive. The total number of verification requests where there's only one match in our records of a name, last 4 digits of the SSN, date of birth, and the number holder is alive. They say total matches, the total number of verification requests. So someone is registering the vote and asking to verify the social and the socials and the name. Look at this. Single match found deceased. The total number of verification requests where there's only one match in our records on a name, date of birth, and last 4 of the social, and the number holder's deceased.
This is strange.
How does 23,000 verification requests not strike them as odd in 1 week?
Yeah, 76,000 total, 26,000 of them came back dead. I can't see the numbers exactly from here. 23,000 came back dead. That's so ridiculous. That is. So you're thinking they purge voter rolls from time to time?
I'm trying to make sense of this, right? Because
that would make sense for a huge
Yeah,
number.
It would make sense for a huge thing if a state came by and they said, okay, we're reevaluating our voter rolls and we've identified all these people are dead, and so we're purging them from the list.
We want to verify these.
Yeah, as opposed to like new voter registration. And I would expect states like Missouri and Texas to actually take that a little bit more seriously. So if I'm trying to come up with a non-nefarious explanation for those numbers, that's all I can think of. Otherwise, it's shady as hell.
It's just weird. It doesn't make sense. And like I said,
I think you have to be right on that. I think it has to be that.
Yeah.
It can't, hopefully, because otherwise we live in a very corrupt system. And I think that's not great. Yeah. It's a very depressing thing to talk about on Ian's birthday.
Can I say another thing that just irritates me about this and this is one of the problems with, bureaucracies in general, is that even when something like this is done, and let's say that the explanation I just offered is the actual explanation, and actually this is something that we would agree with, right? A state did the right thing. They looked at their voter numbers. They said, yeah, hey, we had a whole bunch of people on the voter rolls that need to be removed because of deaths, et cetera. Then put that on there, right? Like make that obvious that that's what you're doing. Like this is why the transparency aspect of all of this is so important, is because even when a bureaucracy is doing something that you might approve of, they still don't do it in such a way to where people can actually understand what's going on. But again, we haven't verified that that's what's gone on here.
It looks like that may be the case.
Okay.
The reason, and so I just want to point out, we're looking into the high number of deceased and we're shocked to see it in the immediate, but it may very well be the state is saying, let's run these registrations and see if these people are still around and alive. Make sure that their date of birth, name, and everything comes up. Mm-hmm. But maybe it is personal.
Can a state do that legally? Run your data and try and register you to vote?
It can run its own rolls, right?
It's supposed to. Legally, what states are supposed to do is look at the voter rolls and evaluate them in order to determine that if people have died, they fall off the voter rolls. So somebody can't, because here's what ends up happening, right? You die, but you're on a permanent absentee list. Well, now that absentee shows up to your home and somebody fills that out and sends it off. Well, that's voter fraud. And so that's why you try to keep those rolls updated. It's why there's also supposed to be, you have organizations like EPIC, which I think is a problematic group, but it's also supposed to allow states to communicate better among themselves so that when somebody moves, you don't have absentees going to like two locations. But like I said before, with same day voter registration, now you've got a place, look at a university campus, right? So you don't live in Virginia, but you go to school at, whatever, UVA.
I think we're actually wrong. Let me read this. What is HAVA? The Help America Vote Act requires states to verify the information of newly registered voters. Newly registered voters for federal elections. Each state must establish a computerized statewide voter registration list and verify new voter information.
The
states are required to verify the driver's license number against a state MVA database. Only in situations where no driver's license exists should the states verify the last four digits of the new voter registration social security number. The state submits the last digits of the SSN to the MVA for verification with SSA. In addition, SSA is required to report whether its records indicate the registrant is deceased. These are new registrations.
Yeah, that's we gave the benefit of the doubt, right? We didn't rush to a conclusion, but that sounds bad.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it says states must submit a request for us. States must only submit a request to us for new voters who do not present a valid driver's license during the voter registration process. Straight up, these are new registrations where they're saying someone did not present an ID, and Missouri kicked back 23,000 of them as deceased.
Yeah.
Nice. I wonder if Missouri is a hotbed for illegal immigration.
I just feel like
I think it is.
I feel like even though I'm reading this from the SSA website, it has to be wrong. There's no way that's true. 23,000 deceased new registrants?
Out of 68,000 total?
Yeah, that's a third.
That's just like throwing it at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
In Missouri, though? What is going on?
Some random state in the middle of the country. They're trying to keep it subtle. If it was in California, it'd be a red flag. They did it in Texas because it's unstoppable.
Isn't there a
It
fair
does
amount of
not say
agriculture
this is
in
being
Missouri?
used for voter roll purchase. It says they're required for newly registered voters for federal elections.
That's nuts. Someone either screwed up their data input on an Excel spreadsheet somewhere, or that's suspicious as hell.
Maybe the newly is a typo and it should just say of registered voters.
I don't think so.
No,
because because the states are required to verify the driver's license against a database. What is it says already right here. States must only submit a request to us for new voters who do not present a valid driver's license during the voter registration process. That is, all of these that are being sent to the Social Security Administration are purported to be new registrations.
That's nuts.
Dude, it's the deceased thing that I just look. I don't know. We're just sitting here. We're reading a website. Y'all figure it out.
Well, how do you get the data of 23,000 dead people to even register them? You've got to find that data somewhere. You can't accidentally write it down on oops, misclicked 23.
Probably they all
of the
didn't
time.
just drop dead that week.
Yeah, so
Probably would have heard about it, I think.
Was there a mass casualty event in Missouri we missed?
I don't think so.
Like
Apparently
I heard about this phenomenon where carbon dioxide can build up at the bottom of the lake.
Oh yeah.
And then it bursts and sweeps over the neighboring town, asphyxiating everybody. Could that have happened
Holy
somewhere and we just
God.
didn't know it happened?
That's what Media Matters will want us to assume before we make any other conclusions. Yeah.
Or it could be that despite the fact that they say this on their website, it's not true. That's the point.
also true. I
So-
want to not
then what-
believe this data.
Does that
but
mean
it's stark?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is what's true better or worse? Because 23,000 is not
Well,
great.
the thing that again the reason why it's also confusing is because you would expect if somebody is doing this right and they're actually good at it, you're not going to one state and doing all of this. But again, I am I've seen plenty of incompetence in politics, and so nothing really surprises me anymore.
Is Missouri like a big swing state?
No.
Is it? What is
Yeah,
it?
But
But my
They
thought
only
is,
vote.
like, I keep saying this. I think I could be totally wrong. Missouri, I'm not super familiar with you, but I think it's a pretty substantial agricultural state. And
Yeah.
often you have undocumented,
HB1
illegal
visas,
aliens, right?
yeah.
People who are there illegally working on farms or whatever else. So theoretically, there could be a population that would want to register to vote that doesn't have a social security number. Hypothetically. I'm just running a theory.
These are numbers from last week. Is that right? Or these earlier in the year? Or like, have we,
So this 23,000 number is for the week ending February 17th.
for 1 week.
For one week. I can jump back to February 10th.
Yeah.
And take a look at
See if
Missouri.
there's any other 20,000 dead people.
251.
Oh.
Which, okay, if a
What is
county
going
ran their rolls that week and was purging, that would
Sure.
a big number would make sense to me. But
But that's not what the
that's
website
not
says.
what the website says. So
What about go 1 week before this one too and look at Missouri again?
Let's go to February 3rd.
this is a fun game. I
Yeah,
love
for
it.
this.
How many dead people?
No,
402.
the Missouri anomaly is insane.
402.
It was 26,000.
23,000.
And 3 weeks later, 2 weeks
Yeah.
after this,
Yep.
that's something wrong. Something big is going on.
And I mean, Texas only. Let's jump to another week. Let's go to February. Let's go to January 27th. Do we have Texas here on January 27th? Because here we go. 4,607. 125,000 requests. This website says these are literally new registrations. How is it possible that so many dead people, to the tune of thousands, are submitting new registrations?
Well, and if there's a portion of them,
Accidents?
let's say, if you write your social security number wrong and it turns out that the number you got was a dead person,
No way.
It would
it
have
just
to
I don't know,
match
it
their
wouldn't
name.
happen 4,000 times,
No.
right?
Because it would have to match their name too.
In
They said that-
23,000 in
name.
1 week in Missouri, someone accidentally added a zero or something. Even 2,000 is a lot
Yeah.
compared to their other numbers.
and it's the same week that it happened in Texas.
But guys, the important thing to understand is no one will investigate this. Not a single Republican will ask about it, and everyone will forget within 1 month.
What are you talking about? These numbers? Let them not forget. This is insane. This is just a drop in the bucket of what's to come if we don't start making noise about this kind of thing.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.